So hello everyone. Um, I wanted to share um, a game that I played today. I'll make a quick video on this end game that we got. I'm black here. I'm playing against Gerhard Junesh, a German Fidemaster. We're playing the second Bundesliga. So okay, I'm black, but I wanted to play for a win. I wanted to try to create something, but my opponent played. I mean, he didn't make any special mistake, and he played quite solidly, so there wasn't so much to do. And at this point, yeah, maybe I could have played something like Rook D8. It might have been sensible. And the position is quite dry and simple, but black is not worse. Maybe some very tiny ads or initiative, but hardly anything. But yeah, we can continue playing, and anything can still happen. But what I did was I played e5, defending the knight, and my opponent decided to exchange everything. Rook c1. Yeah, here again I was wondering about playing bishop c6, but and at that board I thought it might not be so bad because I have ideas with queen g6. But the computer suggested queen a5 here, and the knight b4 is coming. Yeah. So okay, I took on c1, which was the right decision, but then we have this endgame, which is just completely equal. But I had seen that I could play queen g6 or queen f5, might be the same thing. But okay, play queen g6 because yeah, maybe I felt more secure having keeping an eye on the knight on d6. So I threatened a check on b1, and yeah, this endgame is just equal in so many different ways. But that doesn't mean that you can't continue playing and hope for the best. So knight c3, just defending. Knight c3 is a good move. It's defending both d1 and b1. Queen d3. Centralizing the queen. I'm still keeping an eye on my knight. Yeah, the only problem is that I have to spend another tempo if I want to make a mating threat in the board. I have to play queen d2 because this knight is defending everything. But the same goes for him. My knight on d6 is defending c8 and e8, I guess. But yeah, he played h4. h4, okay, I decided to play h5. Here he played queen b6. Yeah, I thought queen c5 was also interesting. I mean, yeah, like I said, I'm trying to win, but you also have to be careful in such situations not to overdo it, because objectively black is not better at all. It's just completely equal. But yeah, you can easily overextend if you're not careful. So yeah, he played queen b6, but yeah, I was wondering about queen c5. Let's say if knight c4, defending e5, then you can check. Take on b7, it's also hanging on f7. So that doesn't look good. f6, then the knight comes, he threats to take on d6, and white is in good shape there. So here I should play queen d2. I mean, maybe I could hope for such tricks on a good day, but I doubt that he would fall for it. But yeah, the main reason is just to play a move like queen e1, and yeah, this is equal as well. And it's also hanging on b2, of course. But okay, he played queen b6. Here, this was move 34. So the time control was at move 40. So here I needed to make a decision what to do. Should I play king h7? Should I play f6? Should I go all out and play something like knight c4? What would you do? What do you think is the best way for black? Yeah, so I was considering considering all of these ideas: f6, king h7, or knight c4, and the clock was ticking down. I mean, I thought on knight c4, and then it takes on b7. I'll play knight d2, and I'll start making some threats against the king. Well, that didn't look clear to me at all. But still, in the end, after analyzing king h7 or f6, it also looked just very unclear, and I didn't see that I was any better there. Anyways, yeah, all of these situations are, all of these ways are around equal, I guess. So in the end, but knight c4 is a bit risky. I knew that I can also lose the game if I'm missing something. So in the end, anyways, with like 10 seconds on the clock, I just decided, okay, let's just go for it. Let's go all in. So I went knight c4. And my opponent took on b7, which I had anticipated. Knight d2. And so queen f1 is coming. Here, the question is, how would you proceed as white? So would you check on b8, start collecting the pawns? You take on e5, then you threaten to take on h5. Would you do something else? Well, I was kind of hoping for him to check on b8. I mean, even though I knew that also wasn't clear at all. But the thing is, what I was worried about was king h2, because here I saw that, I mean, I don't have anything better than, well, it's still a draw, but I have to just simply check, because here I have queen f5. So he has to go back, and I go back. So this is just a draw. So he went queen b8 check, as I was hoping for, but even that doesn't mean that I'm any better. But at least the game continues. Again, he can go king h2. I can check like before, but I also have the extra option of queen f5. But yeah, I mean, black doesn't have anything. He took. I got the f2 pawn. Yeah, I also saw that I could just force a draw like this. Yeah, queen g3. I have queen h1 check. It's a simple draw. But I wanted to continue the fight, so I took an f2. I mean, I have sacrificed, after he takes on h5, I have sacrificed 2 pawns. So, yeah, I knew it was quite risky. But, yeah, he did take on h5. The engine actually suggests also king h3, which would have been a good move. And then black has to play accurately, maybe queen g1. I think the knight f1 was the other move. And yeah, it should end in a draw probably, most likely. So I took, and this was, now he had to find his, he had to play his 40th move. And also his clock was ticking. So this is a typical thing that happens often around move 40. Yeah, so actually his 40th move wasn't a mistake. It was still okay. But I was expecting, or I was calculating something like a knight e2, and I didn't see anything other than a draw. I could, for example, check. Yeah, he doesn't want to go here, because then I will win on the spot like this, but he has to go to h3. And can take like this, I guess. I'd seen something like this, for example. At least, so this should end in a draw. But yeah, he had some other options, I think. But okay, in the end he played queen g4, which is a decent move. Knight f1 check. And now the big question is, do you go to h1 or do you go to h3? My opponent played king h3. So king h1. Yeah, this is a draw here and here. But I thought, yeah, we actually analyzed this after the game. And I think, yeah, okay, if it's equal, but it's quite drawish, but I think you can, I mean, anything can happen, you know, you can still try something in this. Why not? I mean, the knight is a tricky piece, and I think I prefer to, okay, he can try to create a passed pawn on the queen side, but maybe it's not that mobile, maybe it's not so easy to get them going. So in the meantime, if I manage to consolidate somehow, let's say with g6 or knight f5, for example, you know, I might start making some threats, but of course, objectively, it's just completely equal. Okay, he played king h3, and now if you want, you can try to find the best way for black. You can pause the video if you want. But else I'll just continue. So here, yeah, so this was after move 40. So at first I thought that, yeah, this might just be a draw somehow. I mean, I was looking for some ways to keep things going, but I knew that I had some ideas with bringing the queen to g1 at some point, take on e3, either queen or knight, and so there are different ways. But then, yeah, with f5, then he has queen c4 check, right? No, but then I actually started thinking more about f5 and just realized f5 is just winning. It's just over. I mean, what can white do here? It is true he can check on c4. In this case, it's very important where we bring the king. To h8 or h7. If we go to h7, white plays queen f4 and he's winning. Because f5 will be taking the check, so king h8 is the only thing I needed to see, and there are too many threats. Okay, you can play queen f4 back, then I'll play queen g1. And the thing is that I'm threatening queen h1, which will end in mate. And he has no checks, and when he takes here, then it's important that I have a check here. Any other move like check on g3 or take on g2 just ends in a draw. So yeah, it's important that I can take on e3. So I always had this queen h2 or queen h1. So after f5, yeah, I had to calculate just all the possibilities, but once that was done, then I was quite confident, and I could play it kind of easily. Yeah, queen c4, king h8, like I said, queen g5, same thing, queen g1 comes. Yeah, it's the same story. Queen f4, queen g1, queen f3, queen g1, and okay, check. You can make a queen a8, then we go to h7, but here we go to h8, of course. Yeah, he played queen g6, and then I also had seen this nice mate here, queen f3. This is deadly mating net. The queen is defending h5, f5, threatening h1, potentially threatening on g3. Yeah, so the king can easily find shelter on the h file. Yeah, so sometimes it pays off to take a risk like that. Not always, but at least I knew that I more or less had a draw in hand, so that was important. Then that helps taking these kind of risks if you know that you're probably able to bail out. And yeah, my opponent, he was nice enough to analyze the game with me, and when he resigned, he told me it's a very, very beautiful mating net. So that was quite nice of him. And yeah, so I hope you enjoyed this. Didn't want to make the video too long this time, so I will catch up with you soon. Bye.